we speak really fast, we can miss one incident of our experience with incidents of another experience.
Yes.
At this stage of being a front runner, at this stage, Peter, we should have a media team. I'm disappointed in him not having a media handling team. You cannot be at this stage and not have a solid media team. You are playing with fire. Because right after this interview, when you saw this thing, your media team would have said
up
it
to
was
work
just
immediately.
Immediately. I was tired. You, the next tomorrow morning, you are distributing all your people over all the media outlets. Your people are giving interview. There is no need why we don't have an Axelrod. Obi has too much money for us not to have. Even Oluchi that was supporting Peter Obi, at one point, she was one that took up that case of that Nigerian tomato force lady issue. At a point, Oluchi typed a text, a tweet before I left a tweet that she said, at this point, these people are going to overwhelm us. Why? Tinubu has hired AI bots. Go on Linda Ikeji, every comment, as Peter Obi was talking today,
everywhere they were you will see the comments, they were bombarding.
AI bots. They are using chatbot. I am disappointed that at this stage, and I love Obi to pieces, but I will also tell him and the team the truth. Listen, Badebo Roadvival is doing a better job in media. Tinubu opposition line. Tinubu was blasting Jonathan government on the Financial Times of London, in the New York Times of the how many solid wicked opinion pieces has your team put out on international media for a government that took our economy from 588 billion to 188 billion. Obi's team has been weak when it comes to communication, and he will lose the next election. I'm not saying it out of emotions. I am telling you the simple truth. If he goes into an election like this, he will lose woefully.
Because you know what they did against Jonathan, the likes of Nai Mohammed and Boloko and International. You don't need to, you don't need to make any too much emphasis on that. It's needed. If I say I have never met Abacha, it's like saying I have never met Abacha before. Even if I met Abacha.
Make we quickly listen to that aspect when you talk about how he used work for Abacha, and we could come back to listen to our previous footage where you talk about some years ago or some time ago how you explain what he do for Abacha that time.
Let me ask you. I'd like you to clarify this because I watch a lot of conversation around you, and I mean around every major political figure in this country. How do you clarify this reputation that you worked for the Abacha government or in the Abacha government?
So I've never worked for government before I became governor. I can tell you that.
Did you do anything in special?
So let me clarify for you. I've never worked for any government before. So I was a very successful businessman. And everybody knows that. I was a very successful businessman. I built my business from scratch to something of a routine. As a businessman, I'm also part of those who were controlling trade in Lagos then. There was a time during Abacha's government, even happened during Obasanjo's government, there was a time during Abacha's government, because when Abacha took over, they said all ports, seaports and everything closed. So they came out with a policy that caused congestion in our ports, even the airports. Goods were not being cleared, goods were not being exported and everything. And some of us felt, no, we need to go and see the head of state then, or at least the commissioner for Minister of Finance, who was I think it was Ani. So we came to Abuja, about 50 of us. We had an audience with the Minister of Finance and the President and the head of state then, and we were able to elucidate the problem we're facing. The president then directed the finance minister that he should take some of us who are the leaders, should just form a committee to decongest all the ports in Nigeria. And there were about 10 or 20 ports. Make sure that in each committee, one of us is involved. That's the only thing I had to do with the port. And then when we finished, which lasted maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they said, It is now time to probe and reorganize the port, because I had written in one of my comments that Nigeria Port Authority is the only port I know in the world that have an office outside its country of operation. And coupled that they've seen whether they said you become a member of the panel. He said, if anything, I was a member that tried to reorganize and sack people. Saying he has nothing to do with working government. I've never met Abacha. I don't know him. I'm not in the military. Saying everything I've done in my life is in the public space.
Sorry, sir. Prince Francis Chilakasa, you heard what he said here. Now let's quickly take a previous footage where he addressed Seum conversation, which is the reason why this is now trending. Let's
Just
see what he said.
I was telling them a story last night about Abacha. How we went to, we were almost suddenly be arrested for not paying duty. The port was congested. Everything was under Abacha. You clear goods so faster than you can today. And we did everything. So we're supposed to be under arrest because they said we didn't pay duty. We didn't do anything. So we went to Abuja to see Abacha. We were 100. They said they're going to lock us up. Only 30 agreed to see him. And when they said I should speak, I was talking. Halfway, the man banged his table and said, "Come, I need the minister." He said, "Form today. What the congestion?"
Did you hear that?
Which is me.
Did you hear that?
Chairman,
Did you hear that?
So,
Prince Francis Chilaka, I don't know if you heard what he said. He said, the minister, please, can you listen again? Can you help
just said, I was telling them a story last night about Abacha. How we went to, we were almost suddenly be arrested for not paying duty. The port was congested. Everything was under Abacha. You clear goods so faster than you can today. And we did everything. So we're supposed to be under arrest because they said we didn't pay duty. We didn't do anything. So we went to Abuja to see Abacha. We were 100. They said they're going to lock us up. Only 30 agreed to see him. And when they said I should speak, I was talking. Halfway, the man banged his table and said, "Come, I need the minister." He said, "Form today. What the congestion?" You see this boy who is talking, which is me, Shaman, thinker. That's how I got involved in the port. And when they finished it, everybody was coming for Abacha for clearing the port. But all he did.
Okay. All right. So the reason we make him give this example, maybe they give example about a listening government. Government with the listen. Say them being go to Abuja to go, when ports the congestion been day to clear goods na wahala. And saying a business person in be. So then go to see how they go talk to the government in power at that time. Remember, it was military regime. And he said they went to see Abacha. But apparently, I don't know if they ended up seeing Abacha because remember in this conversation right now, he mentioned the minister. That's why I said you should please help me listen to it again. Because now Reno Omokri dropped a message and said that, that Peter Obi contradicts himself. That this is not because I'm giving him attention. But I like us to analyze this without emotions and with clarity. Because what we're doing is a cause for our nation. So not us, and that is I am here for, and that's what I stand for. So I like us affect us. Now, this was the message that Reno Omokri left, that Peter Obi contradicts himself. That means in one breath, in talk, say never meet Abacha before during show interview. But here, for inside this interview now, he just said that he met Abacha. Meanwhile, perhaps what he was trying to say was the fact that the fact that he mentioned the minister there was that when they went to see Abacha, they met the minister because you cannot see the head of state like that. So it was the minister that they met. And that the minister was the one that said, this boy. But I don't know if you understand anything different from what he said, though. That is why I said we should listen again carefully. I played it the second time. If I have to play the third time again, please let's do that. And then let me take your reaction, sir.
I told you when you started today, I said, a lot of people listen to attack. They don't listen to assimilate. And when anything that has to do with Peter Obi, I have friends, very close friends. I don't really keep friends, but I have friends from a distance. If you want to look for their trouble, talk about Peter Obi. The way Reno Omokri talks about Peter Obi is the way every one of them, and they're all APC members. Now, what I got from
you don't understand what he said. The bone of contention is that in the interview with Seum Okimbaloye, he said he's never met Abacha before. He doesn't know him, meaning that he doesn't share any personal relationship with him. But in this interview, he almost insinuated that he saw Abacha and Abacha picked him for the interview. But what I perceived there was the fact that the minister, perhaps they went to see Abacha in that protest, but they didn't meet Abacha. They met the minister who they expressed their grievances to. I don't know whether you understand my point, but maybe
okay, let me take it from
from the beginning. There's something he said that people are not listening. That's why I say people are not listening. People are just made up their minds to attack this man. He said to you, see, when we say you have worked with the government in Nigeria, what people are trying to establish is the fact that your business, your success is tied to that government or is tied to government largesse. That is a big problem in Nigeria. So anybody you can say has had dealings with government. It's like when you talk of Dangote, a lot of people will tell you, oh, Dangote made his money from Nigerian government. They have always been available and worked with every Nigerian government. Call it military, call it civil. So what Peter Obi was trying to clarify is that Peter Obi, I made my money, I built my business first and foremost without government patronage. And I'll tell you, what Peter Obi is saying is the same thing. Few weeks back, I spoke my own experience, something like that. Few weeks back, we went to a meeting in one of the commands, custom commands in Lagos. And during the meeting, we all spoke. And when I spoke, I raised some pertinent issues. And I preferred solutions to the way those, issues can be sorted out. And the, controller immediately said, oh, it's said to the PRO, set up a committee and make sure that Prince is part of that committee. Now, if that committee is set up, whether it is, obviously the CG of custom was not there, but for the fact that a controller has given that directive, even if it's a minister, it is assumed that that minister cannot set up that committee to decongest the port without having to go back to his principal. So there must have been a discussion either between now or before.
Okay, so Princess Chilaka, let me quickly take this call from Laura. She's in the UK. Laura, hi, good to hear from you again. Go ahead and respond very quickly.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Chilaka, good evening. Good evening to all your guests.
Good evening.
Let me say 2 or 3 quick points.
Go ahead.
One, when we speak really fast, we can miss one incident of our experience with incidents of another experience.
Yes.
I do that a lot. Sometimes, for the sake of integrity, you see me that I'll go back to a YouTube comment or a Twitter comment and go and correct something. If you go back and listen to some of the calls I've made on your channel, I would have talked 3 lines back and I'll remember something like, no, that's not correct, because I've mixed one incident for another. That's one. 2, I heard what Prince Chilaka said, and what you're saying when you say, that you came in, you could have met the minister and all that. Let me give you an example of something that quickly happened. 2014-ish, I can't remember the exact year. The Nigerian Customs and some other 1 or 2 parastatals in Nigeria were doing a roadshow in the UK, organized by the Financial Times. I went there. Who was in government? I can't remember. But I was in the UK. I went there 2014. And I was one of the listeners. We were looking for investors. This was one of the hotels in Park Lane. I think it was Park Lane Hotel in London. And when they finished speaking, the customs man was there and some other people. There was a particular man from, I don't know, the ministry or whatever, or parastatal or government. When he finished speaking, and then they opened it to the floor, and they wanted investors and everything. And I looked at the room. 50% of us were Nigerians. The rest of them were some people that I don't know what they are. I just got up when he gave me the mic. And I embarrassed the Nigerian delegation in front of everybody in a major Financial Times roadshow. And I said, nobody should invest. Let's not go into that. I can't remember their response to me when I finished talking, but they were thoroughly embarrassed. Can we therefore say that I met the DG of Customs because of that? I can confidently say I've never met the DG of Customs. He went to a roadshow and he made a presentation. And at the end of that presentation, I made a counter argument against them that people should not invest in Nigeria because the Nigerians, we that are investing, they did not look after us. There is no rule of law. There's no this. Can I walk out of that place and say I have met the DG of Customs? If somebody asks me, what did he tell you? What can I say? That I went into, that I was in a space where he was in the same space and we had audience of him. And he gave instruction to somebody based on the comment I made. Does not mean I met him one-on-one. Do you understand? Let's pack that to another corner. Yeah. Then, there's this particular thing I wanted to say. You see this thing where we are nitpicking on basic things that are basic human flaws, where I will mix one experience for another, and it's the next day that I may remember to correct it. Even Barack Obama makes the same thing. Although Barack Obama is a very slow speaker, Peter Obi is a faster speaker.
Yes.
Faster speakers
can make mistakes. It happens to me a lot. It happens to me a lot. I'm sure you notice I do a lot of repetition when I talk here too.
Yes.
So go ahead.
There's a video that Aisha Yusufu did recently where she was saying, Buhari did not have a base. Sorry, I meant to say Tinubu does not have a base. Let's put all of that aside. Precious.
Yes, please.
There's something in particular that I wanted to say. You see, the people who are picking on Peter Obi and picking on a lot of this, I feel sorry for Nigerians.
So Laura, let me ask you very quickly. Now, a lot of people, I'm sure you watched Seum Okimbaloye's interview with Amechi. With Wiki. In fact, you watched his interview with Amechi. You watched his interview with Wiki, and you watched his interview with Peter Obi. Is there any difference? Because I don't understand why people think he's biased. What's the difference?
Seum Okimbaloye is always afraid to speak to the APC people when they come to, even to the APC, even to Rotimi Amechi. He's afraid to speak to them. But when it comes to Peter Obi, he will double down. See, I've remembered what I wanted to say. I have a criticism of Peter Obi. I wanted to plead with you sometime yesterday. It was ringing in my head that if I come into your studio, I won't show my face, but I want to have a session with you where I want to talk about some of the summaries of what I want Peter Obi to do.
Oh, yeah, you can use audio only, but come in.
He has one of the
You can do without your video. So just go ahead when that time comes.
One of the strong criticisms that I have with Peter Obi that I'm not pleased with him is at this stage of his presidency, at this stage of being a front runner, at this stage, Peter Obi should have a media team. I'm disappointed in him not having a media handling team. You have too much money to not have a solid consultancy. When APC coalesced and removed Jonathan from office, that was when we had the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Do you remember?
Yes.
So it was Jonathan that had Cambridge Analytica, but the point is, this is the cheating. I've spoken to Madam Bolale, I've spoken to a couple of people, and it was the last time I spoke on a space, on an Obedience space, and after that I cancelled my Twitter handle. I was one of the people who insisted that why do we not have a Twitter handle that just says we have the handle for Peter, but there should be a handle that says Obedient Movement and all that, and they implemented bits and pieces. But I was critical. I lambasted all of us because you cannot be at this stage and not have a solid media team. You are playing with fire. Because right after this interview, when you saw this thing, your media team would have said
up to work immediately.
Whatever was tired. The next tomorrow morning, you are distributing all your people over all the media outlets. Your people are giving interview. There is no need why we don't have an Axelrod. Obi has too much money for us not to have. Even Oluchi that was supporting Peter Obi, at one point, she was the one that took up that case of that Nigerian tomato first lady issue. At a point, Oluchi typed a text, a tweet before I left a tweet that she said, at this point, these people are going to overwhelm us. Why? Tinubu has hired AI bots. Go on Linda Ikeji, every comment, as Peter Obi was talking today,
everywhere they were you will see the comments, they were bombarding.
AI bots. There is a guy in the Obedient Movement who is part of a team in California who developed a super machine. Those ones are not yet to be released. That is, let me not go into detail. But that one, he said he set up a system such that he was in a chat room, people were arguing, and the AI bot had been studying him for like a period of time so that he could go to work and come back. AI was arguing with people. People were arguing with AI, thinking it's him, and he has gone to work and come back. And the thing was there for days. They are using chatbot. I am disappointed that at this stage, and I will type it, I will tell Madam Bolale. The last time they were upset with me because I told them my mind and I walked out. You see, I love Obi to pieces, but I will also tell him and the team the truth. Listen, Badebo Revival is doing a better job in media. As at this time,
I'm sorry. Badebo is not even doing a better job.
Only one more sentence. As at this time, with Tinubu opposition live, Tinubu was blasting Jonathan government on the Financial Times of London, in the New York Times of how many solid, wicked opinion pieces has the Obi team put out on international media for a government that took our economy from 588 billion to 188 billion? Obi's team has been weak when it comes to communication, and he will lose the next election. I'm not saying it out of emotions. I am telling you the simple truth. If he goes into an election like this, he will lose woefully. He will get less than the 6 million he got before, because you are dealing with, in the Spanish league, there's when Barcelona is playing Madrid, they say we have an El Clasico. Obi should be playing with Tinubu. When it comes to communication, the match of media should be El Clasico.
Did you hear somebody dropped a comment here? Somebody dropped a comment here. Laura, let me just read the comment here. Somebody says that will be the money for media team and AI bots can do a lot in nursing schools in Nigeria to Obi. So maybe that's why he's not thinking towards that investment.
Unfortunately, when you want to save the people, sometimes you have to invest in. I work for a company that they say, oh, our expenditure went beyond by 2 million this year. And they say, but it's not a problem. It is because we are building capacity, we're expanding, we're taking on more people. We know we'll make the money back. To rescue future generations, to prevent 100, 200, 300 people from dying in Benue, there are certain things you must do now. And that means if you are going to wrestle power, you are dealing with a man. See, you people don't know the connection that Jagaban has. Jagaban has direct connection with Tony Blair. Jagaban, see, you guys, so Peter Obi is playing. He's playing 10-10. I'm sorry to say. I'm a lawyer. I'm sorry to say. But I got angry and I walked away from Twitter because, you see, the team around Peter Obi, we don't want to tell ourselves the truth. I was the one who complained and said, even if you are still doing things in the background, do this. Then, when they did all this back behind the scene meeting, they invited me to one. And I told them, we talked about structure and everything, and I mentioned this thing about media. How many things do you constantly publish in the media? And what are you putting in the print? What have we put? When the day Tinubu was sworn in, Times of London put out a post called a kleptomaniac, something to power in Nigeria. That's what the Times of London called Tinubu. A kleptomaniac. How many times has Peter Obi hired a media consultant to put political hit pieces on those media? How many times? How many pieces of opinion have we done? Where are Peter Obi's lobbyists in Washington? How many has he hired? He's playing second league. For he's a kind man, he's a good man, he's a generous man. I will vote for him over and over again. But you see, I will not. If this media, if Peter Obi is going to go into this election, this media, I will not be campaigning. I will not be putting a naira. I will give it to support people because his media game should be an El Clasico when it comes. Do you see PDP? Do you see? Sorry, not PDP. Do you see APC? The hits by hits. You are playing. You are playing. He will not win. I am telling you, no emotions. If he continues like this, he should go and hire both within Nigeria and outside of Nigeria. He should go and hire solid media people who will coach him. Obama had media people coaching him. I've listened to the podcast of two guys. One was a junior, one was, I think, maybe more senior, who were both working with David Axelrod when they were coaching Obama before interviews. Peter Obi wants to do interviews, and when he finishes, he will call Aisha, and did I do well? Okay, give me feedback. That was for last year. That was for 2023. Not this time. Not this time.
All right.
Because as you finish that thing, you will put out a post, you will be on media, you will kill. You are in your position, yet you are not setting the narrative. The person in government who is failing is the one constantly setting the narrative. He's relying on his, every time they've been calling his followers mob. If you have a solid media team of 6 people, spending at least 100 million on them a year, you will be setting, I'm disappointed at this time. Who coached him before he had this meeting? Who sat down and did a revision of, do you know that if Nancy Pelosi, the former speaker of the reps, the Democrat speaker, before she will have a meeting, they've agreed all the questions. They've agreed all the questions with the media house, or you don't get a right to, because you're also using it to sell adverts. You pre-bring the questions, they approve. Or they may not pre-bring the questions, but they will tell you the areas they will speak on and the areas they will not speak on. Take it or leave it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Laura.
Just that speaker answering questions.
Thank you.
Disappointed. The team around him, Peter Obi, that he has not invested 100 million in media. He's not serious. He ain't going nowhere. I love him to pieces, but this is my advice.
Thank you.
Comrade Omori. She made a very valid point as representation.
Okay.
And you see, if you consider what they did against Jonathan, the likes of Naib Mohammed and both local and international, you don't need to, you don't need to make any too much emphasis on that. It's needed. And again, you were asking a question about what he said before. There was no ambiguity about what he said. Peter Obi was very clear. The statement was very clear, and there was no ambiguity. If I say I have never met Abacha, it's like saying I have never met Abacha before. Even if I met Abacha yesterday, even if I'm talking with Abacha now.
And remember, his word was "I had," not "I have." He said, "I had never met Abacha."
I have never met Abacha. It's very clear. There's no ambiguity.
So then, why are you people now? Your people they troll him now. All of them are they troll and say in life.
For the first say somebody is a relationship person, you dey tie the person to that thing.
No. But you know, say I dey want you now. I get to want you now. If I don't want you to bring out the best, what say I go do now? No, while they want each other. Go ahead.
When it comes to talking reality, what do you mean?
Okay.
It's not only by who you follow, who be your guy. My guy don't do this so far. We are all fighting for a better Nigeria. So, if the Oshowore message is not resonating with Nigeria, and the queue is behind the OB, give this them out and like I told you the other time, Peter Obi's presidency will clear the way through stronger institution for a possible Oshowore presidency in the future.
But why is Oshowore against it? Because Oshowore is also against him. I'm sorry, this is not about Oshowore. We shouldn't be mentioning him. But now that you mentioned that, he doesn't even see anything good about Peter Obi. He doesn't even think he's worse.
Yeah, when people are contesting, they say.
Okay, so that's political. Okay, so that's political. All right.
I'm giving for him because I'm not a contestant.
Okay, all right.
So there was no ambiguity about that statement. I have never met him because of what transpired in Lagos. They went to Abuja. On getting to Abuja, because of his statement and his vibrancy, Abacha spotted him and said, "This guy has something upstairs to contribute to this panel. He should be made part of this committee." I had never met Abacha, which means before that day, I had never had anything to do with Abacha. Even those that work with Abacha, the one only you today. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
David Mark, one of those people that wanted to kill Abiola, kill IBB and Abiola, if they handed over 212 to Abiola. So, is it not the end of ADC? What are we talking about? Even Jagaban himself, was it directly? Look at the Chagoris of this world. Those are the people that looked at money for Abacha. Those are Tinubu's best friend. What are we talking about?
Thank you.
He's not guilty of anything. They have not chased anything to him. So, going to Abuja to resolve the problem was a credit, or should not be a discredit on Obi's part. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. All right, sir. Let's
go. Let me see. What I want Nigerians to understand this night is that Peter Obi is a refined politician. Peter Obi does not believe in grab it, snatch it, and run. Peter Obi is not one of those politicians who would embark on a smear campaign. The only thing is that Peter Obi will tell you what he believes is wrong. What woman is saying about Peter Obi spending money on the media, doing all of this and all of that. First and foremost, we need to understand that right now, whatever is going to happen, if Peter Obi becomes the candidate of the coalition, it will not be only him. A media team will be set up, and the media team will work with him. So for me, yes, I know that you need to spend money on media, but anybody expecting Peter Obi, like the lady said, to be spending 100 million every year on media is not serious. Peter Obi is investing his money where he knows that the people need it most. And we must give him credit for that. It's just unfortunate that each time Peter Obi goes to do this public and these charities he does, the Nigerian media, so to say, don't bring it out. They don't showcase it. They don't showcase it the way they showcase when Wike calls press conference to abuse everybody. So the point is this: the media war is not time for media war. If you listen to the two videos of Peter Obi and Abacha, Peter Obi, what he meant initially is that I have never, or I have not worked. He said, I have not worked for Abacha, or I didn't work for government. Government could be Abacha, it could be anybody. He has not worked for government. But it was on the spur appointment to decongest the ports. He was rendering a service to Nigeria, not to Abacha. Unfortunately, it was Abacha that was in power at the time this thing happened. But it does not mean he was working for Abacha. He was working for the government. After all, your president that you have today has as a minister a man that has been pointed as somebody who had helped Abacha in moving forward. So why is Mr. President bringing such person close to him?
That is
If we are saying that
Minister of
Abacha, if we
Budget
are
and National
demonizing
Planning.
Abacha, yes, if we are demonizing Abacha, that is bad, is this, is that. So why would you not pick people who worked directly with him, who related directly with him, into your government, if you're not part of that system? It's unfortunate. The truth of the matter is that it's only the dead that cannot say their own side of the story. I'm sure if Abacha was alive, this story wouldn't be the way it's been. It wouldn't be said the way it is said today. In all of this, who has come out to demonize IBB? He launched a book.
Is it because IBB is not
Everybody
alive?
gathered there.
Sorry, is it because IBB is alive? Are you saying it's because IBB is alive?
It's because if IBB was dead and that book was to be launched, do you think anybody would go there? We pretend too much in this country.
All right. Let me
It is
quickly
the
take it.
pretense of our leaders that brought this country to its knees.
All right, so we have so much conversation to cover this evening because it's important that we look at that case about 9 Post using a Nigerian postal service to parcel drugs and other illicit items. And even though they reacted to it, but I'd like us to talk about it. Hello, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Precious.
Sir?
Yeah, good evening, Shilaka.
He can hear you. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead, please, very quickly. You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, in as much as we welcome publicity, like the lady said, what I don't support is we'll be having foreign support. This is the only thing that destroys Africa, and I wonder why she should support that. Obi gets people from CNN or whatever. Look, in as much as we support this kind of attitude, we are not ready to change our country. Because whoever that supports you, that makes you to be there, is gonna want his interest. Why is the situation with Fubara and the Wike today? It's because of the kind of support Wike gave to him. So anybody thinking Obi should go outside the country, anybody, I am completely against that. This is the only reason why Africa is in a state it is today.
Okay.
It is high time we start changing our behaviors, because I imagine, me wanting to do something. It's like last time they wanted to do this thing and they came to London to do it. We all criticize it. So why should we hire people that, any kind of life you're going to change doesn't matter to? Why would we hire them? Why would you want them to come and make an input in what will not affect them either positively or negatively tomorrow?
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.